show. Join me and my dad while we explore successful boxes, the outdoors, gear and equipment, and other fun things and places. Before we get started, hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Ding! Thank you for watching. Now today, we are going to look at My Medic Wound Enclosure Kit. My dad says I need stitches, but I'm not even bleeding.
Well, thank you for that amazing introduction, Miraculous Girl, and thank you everyone for joining us again here on Exploring It All. So today we're going to be taking a look at the My Medic Wound Closure Kit. We recently received the Hiker's Medic kit in Battle Box, and I'm going to do a repackaging of this in another video. Because one thing that was mentioned is, and I'm going to say it was mentioned, it was brought up by Doc P, and he's absolutely correct, about the My Medic bags, the pouches, whatever you want to call them, as opposed to just having everything in a big bundle. And I have a few first aid kits, and these are more specialized. So, but he's absolutely right. We got this TFAT kit, and this is a mass trauma kind of kit. I've gone more in depth in this and repacked this. It's got all the added upgrades with tourniquets and different kinds of stuff. And there's actually a couple of things I think I'm going to move out of this kit and put in this kit, because these kits are going to stay together in my carry. This one is more designed for wound closure. But anyway, so before I started changing this up too much, because I just got this the other day, I thought, hey, let's unbox this before I start adding things and forget what it actually came with. Now, it does come with a pretty comprehensive list of what's kind of in here and what it's for, different little pictures and stuff, and then a whole list of contents here. It says 30 items, and in some of the bag items, they don't, like, if there's 3 hand sanitizers, they only count that as one. So there's 30 items, I believe, was the total number of items in here. Anyway, so let's take a look at this. First, right off the gate, this is how it opens up. This is on there, kind of. The other kit was like this as well. So you can attach this MOLLE on the back of this to something, and then when you unclip that, you just peel that right off, and that can stay with your main pack, and you just have this individual bag ready to go. It came with this red first aid. It's not a patch. This is metal. And then you got laser cut. This is kind of a rubberized, which is a little different. This one has Velcro on it. This one's a little thicker, of course. And this opens up flat, whereas this one does, but it's more of a book format style. But anyway, so you have that pull away, grab and grow. You have some Velcro on the back over here. You have this non-slip type backing on this, and you'll see some more of that inside, so your tools kind of don't slide around when you just set them on top of stuff and things of that sort. Now, this is definitely an advanced kit. And so there are things that I say even like I have some sort of experience. There are things in here that I'm not trained to use. And then there's some stuff that I could use just fine. However, I know a lot of people that are trained to use it, and they don't always, it's amazingly enough, but a lot of people that are involved in medicine don't always have all the equipment they may be trained to use on them at all times. So if I have it, and my buddy down the street who can give me sutures doesn't have it, but I have it, he can still do it. Although, we'll talk about that. Anyway, so again, I'm not dispensing any first aid advice here or anything. Don't do anything you're not trained to do, etc., etc. All right, so we open this up. You got some really nice big zippers on here that seem very solid to me. By the way, I added this patch here that says rub some dirt on it. Everything stops bleeding eventually, usually when your heart stops. Anyway, and this is the first page of this. And in this, you have 2 hemostats. And you can use these. These are used, now these aren't sterile, so you're not going to probably use these in a surgical setting. Of course, we're not going to do surgery. But you can use these with gauze and things of that sort. There's a curved set and a flat set, but generally they're used for clamping veins and things like that to stop bleeding. So I would assume that's kind of why they're in here. And like I said, you got a curved pair, and these are locking, and a straight pair. And then you have this smaller scissor-looking device here, and this is actually what they call a needle puller. This is partially for doing your sutures and whatnot. So there's that, and that's what you're going to use to pull your needles through when you're doing sutures. And then you have a pair of I can't get it out. You got a pair of tweezers. I want to pull them out without poking myself. Might need to use the hemostats for that. A fairly nice pair of tweezers here. And I like the look. They got little grips on them. There's a little bit of grips in the needle nose part of that. So nice pair of tweezers there. And these elastics here are very tight and keep everything well in place. You have a set of fine scissors you would use to cut your suture strings or anything like that. And then you have a pair of blunt tip scissors, you know, with your one rounded edge. And this type of thing you're going to use to up against the skin. You're trimming off a wrap, a bandage, removing bandages, things of that sort. That's what those are going to be used for. And then finally, and I've opened one, and everyone's going to say, oh man, now your kid's shy, but I'm going to show you something here in a sec. But anyway, this is your scalpel handle, and because I'm going to dispose of this here, but I already got this one open. So you got your scalpel blade, and of course you're going to be wearing gloves, and we'll get to that and all these things, but this is the way this just snaps in place here for your scalpel. Now, I mentioned everyone's freaking out. Oh, and this comes with 3 number 10s and 3 number 11s. Well, I have a whole box of sterile number 10 scalpel blades for replacement purposes. I have a lot of medical supplies. Anyway, so that's that. That will be disposed of. Put that out of the way so I don't cut myself with it. So anyway, so you have your scalpel blade, and then like I said, it has 3 number 10s and 3 number 11s scalpel blades there. So now, when you flip over, and this has that non-slip coating, so you set your tools down, they're not going to slide off this or whatever. However, it's not a sterile setting. It's not, you know, for surgery or whatever. In here, in your pockets, you have a clean and prep mod. And this clean and prep mod comes with 4 antiseptic wipes, 4 hand sanitizers, and 1 iodine prep pad. I kind of think it needs additional iodine prep pads. Just my thought on that. And I will be adding that to it. Again, as I mentioned, I know a lot of extra supplies and stuff. And then you have this super wash. Now this is a wound wash and eye wash solution. So you can use this to wash out your wound, irrigate your wound out. If it's got a bunch of dirt in it or anything. Sometimes when you're out in the field and whatnot, You make, you know, and if you got a water bottle or whatever, you know, sometimes you got to use what you got. I'm talking, you know, so anyway, again, not dispensing any first aid advice here. You got a package of nitrate gloves. I'm going to move that down here because you might want to clean and put on your gloves. You have a mini gauze mod. And this has got two 2x2 gauze pads, one 4x4, two non-adherent 2x2s, and one 2-inch conforming gauze roll. So you got that. And then over on this side, we have a mini wound closure mod, and that has some skin glue and a pack of wound closure strips. I'm not sure how many are in the pack of wounds closed, but it looks like 2, and that seems to be kind of standard. And you have a 2-pack of Z-Zips, and it has 2 Z-Zips and 1 Z-Zip larger, maybe, I guess. And these are a wound closure thing that you pull tight. I have another Z-Zip mod, and I will definitely be adding that in here. Also, I also have some Micromend on order that I will also add in here. And then you have some nylon surgical suturing, sterile suturing stuff, and you have 5/0 and 3/0, I guess is how you say it. Now, the one thing I don't know is it doesn't include the needle. With needle is indicated for use in general soft tissue. Okay, so yes, it does have the needle. So you have 2 different suturing materials, and that's something you might want to beef in that a little bit. And then finally, and this is cool, well, I guess not finally, you have a disposable stapler. I believe this has 15 staples in it for skin stapling, and or some people think only head wounds deserve staples, but you do skin stapling. That's something I don't, you know, the thing about sutures is, first of all, you need to know how to tie the knots, and again, don't do things, the glue, the Z-Zips, those are easy. The staples, borderline advanced there. The suturing, definitely advanced. I know people who know how to do sutures rather well. I'll never forget, I have a buddy who's done thousands and thousands of sutures, and we had some doctors at our facility who really are very inexperienced when it comes to suturing, amazingly enough. And my buddy was assisting one of the doctors on putting some sutures in an individual, and he came to me later and he was chuckling, and I said, what's so funny? He said he used a different knot for every suture. He said, I've never seen anyone ever do that. He was referring to the doctor, and he was laughing. He thought that was hilarious. Anyway, and then we have some cloth surgical tape. So that's what's in here. Like I said, I'm going to add some Micromends in here. I recently used those on my arm right here. Worked rather well. I was impressed. It's kind of almost a staple. It has some little hooks that dig into your skin and then hold the wound together. You kind of pinch it together and get it on there. Very adherent. And then, you know, they sent me, when I ordered this, they sent me a couple of little free gifts, so to speak. And one was a allergy pack, which I won't put in here. Let's see. They sent me a Super Skin mod, and that would be this one, with some bandages. These things are cloth bandages on steroids. They're awesome. And so I think that is a good addition to this. And then I think in my other kit, my TFAC kit, here's another mini wound closure kit, which I'm going to also put in here. Like I said, I think I'll put the Z-Zips in here. The other kit has a space blanket. I don't think that is needed in this one. I think another set of gloves is needed. So if I come across that, I don't know if it'll fit, but I wouldn't mind putting a little mini ice pack in here. One thing about, you know, we say, oh, yeah, we can do sutures, but depending on your situation. And the other thing I don't have handy right now, but that I want to put on here, in here, is a headlamp. Because a lot of times this stuff doesn't happen in the light of day, and I don't have any light involved in this, in between these two kits. There's no headlamp. So I think I'm going to add that in there. But the other thing I was going to say anyway is suturing. A lot of times you want to numb the area, and there is nothing in this kit. But of course, those kind of medications a lot of times require prescriptions and whatnot. And also, they need to be refrigerated, and you know, you just can't keep it in a kit in your trunk or whatever. So you're not going to have a lot of those things. And the next best thing towards somewhat numbing things is extreme cold. I recently, in my previous videos, I've been mentioning I have a tendon issue going on in my thumb, and the first step was a shot up into the joint here. And before they gave me the shot, just like a dentist kind of numbs your gum before he gives you the shot, well, the doctor froze my hand and then gave me the shot. So, yeah. So ice pack, you know, would be handy in that situation, at least somewhat. Anyway, you know, one other little funny side note I'm going to throw out there about my medic, that I think it just cracks me up, and, you know, sometimes laughter is the best medicine. This is the allergy pack. Now, on the hiker, the two different hiker ones, I love the first one we got had a thing that said, sleeping bags are soft tacos for bears. Okay, so the first aid tip number 31, I wish they had a book of these things on this. It says, first aid tip number 31, don't eat bread if you have a wheat allergy, unless you're a gluten for punishment. So, anyway, this little kit right here has 2 diphenhydramine, which is an antihistamine. You have 2 hydrocortisone creams, 4 ibuprofen, anti-inflammatory. 2 loratadine is 10 milligrams and 20 milligrams total, and that's also an antihistamine, and 1 eye drop packet in here. I think that's cool, and that was, I believe, included as a free gift. I got this and another super bivy or something like that. So I may throw this in a different first aid kit or something. Anyway, so like I said, now I'm going to probably take my other Z-Zip pack out of the trauma one and put it in the wound closure. Because like I said, I tend to keep my TFAC and this one, the way they attach to the outside of another case, that I think works out pretty conveniently. So that's a look at the MyMedic wound closure kit. I like this kit. I like their bags. They have another first aid one. This one's a little bit different. I like the TFAC one a little bit more, but this one's a good one. I like it. You know, cool. So, well, guys, hey, thanks for watching. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and remember, be nice to each other.